What's up, guys? It's your boy Red Chaos One, and welcome to the Red Chaos One channel, the home of the web novel guy. So, if you've been on my channel for very long, you already know I'm that weird guy on YouTube who likes talking about web novels most of the time. And so you're probably wondering, Red, why should I read a web novel? Well, I'm going to answer that question. I am going to go through web novels, their advantages, and some of their disadvantages, just so that I can give you a decent idea if you don't know much about them. Now, I myself am a web novel writer. I write a book called Phantom Ddraig. It's an action high fantasy, anime-inspired story. So, if you're interested, you'll find links to it in the description below. You can check it out, and I'll very much appreciate it. So yeah, let's get on to the rest of the video. So you must be wondering what a web novel is. So a web novel is usually a novel that is, or a novel or a short story that is usually written and published online in chapters. So that's the thing with web novels. They're not always posted complete. They're serialized books. So chapters are usually being posted at most times, if you're lucky, every week, or sometimes every month. So now let's get on to the first advantage of web novels. For the most part, web novels are free, which means that you don't have to pay to read them, unlike other books. You don't have to buy them. You can go on sites like Webnovel, sites like Royalroad, Scribblehub, Wattpad, and you can read them there for free. You don't have to pay. You don't have to be bothered by most of that stuff. It's for free. So that is one of the biggest advantages of web novels. They're free, and you also find the links to most of the websites that I know them to come from in the description below. So that will be helpful for you. And another thing that is a big advantage for web novels is the fact that the genres of web novels are very diverse. So like with a lot of things, there'll always be that main genre that's always that's the most popular stuff is always going to be there. But web novels have a diverse category of books if you go on the web fiction sites, which is very helpful. And I know that most people will be put off because when you go to most sites like Royalroad, you'll find many lit RPGs that are usually dominating there, but all in all, a huge diverse catalog of books. Another advantage is that web novels are, their vision isn't compromised for the author, because with most normal books, there's always going to be an editor there to make sure that there's some certain things. On average, there's always going to be an editor with most books. Web novels are written from the author's heart, so you get the pure author's vision. Now, this can also be a disadvantage because remember, most web novel writers aren't professional writers. And a lot of us are writing mainly because we just want to tell a cool story. We're not getting paid. We're not getting any money from it. So without an editor, most web novels are always going to have spelling mistakes, and others usually get dropped by the authors because for a lot of them that passion might get out of it. And that's understandable. I mean, it's not like you're getting paid or anything, so you will find some web novels, but on average, most authors finish their web novels, but there's some who will drop halfway through it. And a lot of them aren't top tier written, so like you're not gonna find there are some web novels that are extremely well written, like professional level, but on average, not like that. You will find spelling mistakes, errors, storylines that aren't edited or paced properly, but on average, they're well written that you will enjoy them. Just don't go in expecting top tier writing all the way around. So another advantage for web novels is thanks to their serialized nature and thanks to the fact that the authors are usually posting on public sites like Wattpad, Royalroad, Scribblehub, Webnovel, you can interact with them. So meaning you, the audience, can have a direct influence on them by telling them what you think, what elements you like of your story, and what you do not like. It's not like with manga or with normal light novels, because with those you're always going to have a problem getting what you, the audience, are reacting to directly to the author. But with web novels, you can comment to the author, and they will directly see it on their books. They will see when you tell them what you think, what you like, what you don't like. You can get what you think of the story directly to them, and I'm sure myself and a lot of web novel authors really appreciate that. So you, the audience, have a direct hand in the web novel and how it shapes up, as well as having a direct link to the author, which is one of the biggest advantages of a web novel. Now, one disadvantage for web novels that I can think of right now is, well, I'm not sure if I can consider it this much of a disadvantage, because it's mainly that they don't have that much of a big presence here in the West, and I'm sure there are many other medias that aren't that big, but if I was being honest, I'd say web novels don't have that much of a big presence with fandoms here in the West, or maybe that's just me. So yeah, like I was saying, web novels have their advantages. The fact that they're free, diverse catalog, which means every person can find something that they want, from soccer to hard fantasy to epic sci-fi fantasy to sci-fi to wuxia to superhero stories, even sports stuff. Everything is there for everyone. You will find what you want in the web novel community. The serialized nature means they're constantly being updated, so the community lasts for a very, very long time, and you still get content. Like some web novels will even go up to having close to 500 chapters, so there's a lot to read in them. The fact that you're getting the author's vision, so it isn't being muddled through, and also the fact that you can have a direct link to them. It helps grow a close relationship between the author and the community who gathers around their story. It's similar to what happens here on YouTube between content creators and their fans. There's that closeness between the creator and the fandom, which is very good on both sides. But then you have the disadvantage: not all of them are well written because there are no editors, and there are a lot of people unprofessional writers, and some web novels, like I said, can be dropped because eventually some people will lose interest. And it also depends with how much feedback people get from the web novel community, because I'll tell you, I've had some moments when I was writing on places like Royalroad where it feels like you keep seeing views but you don't see any interaction with people, and that can get disheartening for a lot of people, because you're trying to write to build that interaction with other people, tell them your story, and nothing is happening. But I'm thankful for places like Webnovel.com and Wattpad, where there is a good, healthy author-reader interaction base there. And other disadvantages, like I've stated before, not every book is well written. Some of them can be dropped, and yeah, there's also the fact that it doesn't have that much of a big presence in the West. Very few web novels are gonna have that huge fandom. There are those that have that huge fandom, like Mother of Learning And if you've heard of the web novel Worm, that one also has a big enough fandom, depending on what part of the internet you're on. But yeah, usually they don't get that big. But still, yeah, those are my thoughts on what I consider the advantages and disadvantages of web novels are. And if you want to check them out, you can go to the description below. You will find links to the websites Royalroad, Scribblehub, Webnovel, and Wattpad. And you can also find the links to my web novel, which is action, sci-fi, high fantasy, Phantom Ddraig. And I could very much appreciate it. And you can also tell me on what you think about web novels as well. What advantages or disadvantages you have encountered in the web novel community, if you have enough knowledge about it. So yeah, this has been Ray Chaos One signing off.